Everybody, good morning. Welcome to MagHub Monday. I'm your host, Nick, and today we're going to be talking about churn. Now, churn is anytime you sign up a new customer and then at some point in the future, they decide to not use your service any longer. Now, it's nearly impossible to reduce churn to zero, but we're going to try to reduce it as much as humanly possible. And especially in a time when it's so much easier to keep existing customers versus going out and trying to find new customers, you got to reduce your churn. Joining me today to talk about churn and how to make sure we stay up on customers as they come up for renewal is Dakota Goldwood. Now, we actually recorded this 4 weeks ago before the pandemic hit, but the conversation is still extremely important because we talk about how to keep customers and when you should be reaching out to customers, which in Dakota's sense is all the time. But I'll let him give his kind of background and ideas about how to use MagHub to find the customers that you need to be interacting with on a regular basis. Hope you enjoy. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to MagHub Monday. Today I have a special guest with us, Dakota Goldwood from Lake City Saver. Dakota's going to show us how he uses MagHub to make sure he stays on top of his accounts that are coming up for renewal. Dakota, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Nick. I'm ecstatic to do this. I appreciate the invite. And yes, a little bit about myself. I'm with the Lake City Saver. We are a direct mail company in Indiana. And I'm an advertising sales rep, and we focus on direct mail magazines and direct mail products. And I've been using MagHub and been with the team now for a little over a year. So something that I use on a regular basis to help me stay organized and keep up to date with my clients is the expiring ad contract. I use that to make sure we don't skip over anything. And we'll talk more about that as Nick alluded to.
Okay, thanks Dakota. Happy to have you on the show. Let's go ahead and dive right into that expiring ads contracts report. I'm going to go share my screen. And are you seeing that come through?
I can, yep.
Perfect. Okay, so I'm on my MagHub dashboard. Now you mentioned before we started recording that you like to favorite this report so you can find it easily. And you do that in the quick links here. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in and then I'll let you take over.
Perfect.
All right, so
Yeah,
what are you looking for? Go ahead, yeah.
First and foremost, with the favoriting report, if you aren't favoriting certain reports throughout MagHub, I really think you should. There are several reports to look at, and if you favorite your reports, it helps you stay organized in the ones that you use on a consistent basis and makes them easier to find as he's showing up in the quick links. So if you use reports on a consistent basis like we do, it's definitely something you should be doing.
Quick side note, this is how you favorite reports. If I go to the reporting module, click all reports, I'm going to make sure I open this in a new tab so we don't lose our spot. But anytime you click this little star next to the report, it'll favorite that and it'll show it in your quick links. And it will also show, as Dakota mentioned, in this favorite reports section here. So without getting too far off the rails, back to the expiring ad contracts report, which is what we're here to talk about. So tell us about how you guys sell and how you use this to your advantage.
Yeah, so what I generally do is I generate a PDF document report, as you can see up at the top of your screen there. And I print it out a lot of the times and I keep it with me. And so what I'm looking at when I take a look at my report, you have contracts that expired in the last 90 days. So that tells me that there are clients that have not renewed, or at least their contract is over. You know, they might still be in this month's issue, but they're due to be contacted and make sure that we can get them renewed so they don't skip over any months. And then if you look down, you have the contracts expiring in 30 days and 60 days. That's very important. That's something you want to keep an eye on, at least for myself. That's something I'm always looking at, because that tells me there are clients that are in the process of expiring. And so their ads will be ending in a very short amount of time. And we definitely need to contact them to make sure that we don't skip any months and we don't leave them out.
Perfect. So this kind of gives you a synopsis of who are you going after for renewal business. When you go to reach out to these groups, I know everybody's kind of in a different industry vertical that uses MagHub, some B2B, some coupon, some direct mail, some city regional, some parenting, right? It's kind of all over the board. But when you go to approach these folks, do you have any tactics or things that you kind of like to try? I mean, do you like to send an email first? Do you like to make a phone call? Do you like to show up and say, hey, how's it going? What do you like to
Mhm.
do, just kind of off the top of your head?
Yeah, sure. So I think we all know in whatever kind of industry, whatever kind of business you're in, it is much, much easier to keep an existing client than it is to go out and find a new one, right? So at Lake City Saver, we really pride ourselves on in-person interaction, face to face, get in front of your client and make sure that service is there, right? So usually when I'm renewing these people, it's fairly easy because I've been talking to them consistently, making sure their ads are the way that they want them, making sure they don't have any problems or any questions. So we form a good relationship at that point. So a couple different ways to follow up with that. If we're on an email relationship basis, and I feel pretty comfortable doing that, we'll send an email, basically just saying we'll keep you rolling. Everything's going to stay the same on our end. We'll just push you right on through. And most of the time, people are more than happy to do that. But if I'm out on the road and I know a client's getting ready to expire, and I'm going to drop in and see them, I'll bring this up as well. Hey, here's the new copy of our magazine. Here's your ad. Here's your ad proof. And by the way, your last issue is going to run in March. Would you like to just keep the ball rolling and keep moving things forward since you're having great success with us? And that seems to work very well. And people seem to renew more than not.
Good. Well, it definitely helps when you're staying in touch with them and working on them with their campaign. You kind of
Mhm.
more of a consultant, less of a, hey, I'm going to show up once a year and sell you something. So
Correct.
definitely a good approach.
That's huge for me. Like I said, we're all about relationships, and I would classify myself as that job, that marketing consultant. And we're not a sell you and run. We definitely want to make sure we're providing good results, as any good company should, and I know as well as you do. So it's definitely important and something to stay on top of.
Absolutely. Dakota, thanks so much for the help, man. I really appreciate it. I know the folks on the MagHub Monday email list will appreciate it too.
Hey, thanks, Nick. I appreciate the opportunity, and it's been fun. We'll talk to you later.
Likewise. All right, gang, have a great week.